Hoy for Benzinga, and here's a look at what you can expect from the markets today, Tuesday, August 27th. China's Vice Finance Minister issued a statement saying that despite the challenges China will face in the future, he expects that the country will achieve a 7.5% growth rate in 2013. Tension between the U.S. and Syria was on the rise after U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry issued a statement saying there was undeniable evidence that the Syrian government had used chemical weapons against their own civilians. Kerry also said it was no longer a question of if the Obama administration was planning to act, but when and how. With the chemical weapons issue heavy on policymakers' minds, the U.S. canceled an August 28th meeting with Russian officials at which the two were set to discuss a peaceful end to the Syrian civil war. The U.S. housing market is suffering as expectations that the Federal Reserve is going to cut its bond buying program in September have pushed mortgage rates up. Home prices are on the rise, and new home sales dropped by 13.4%, the largest drop the U.S. has seen in 3 years. The U.S. debt ceiling came back into focus after U.S. Secretary of Treasury Jack Lew announced that the U.S. will likely reach its $16.7 trillion debt limit in mid-October. Asian markets were mostly down this morning as they felt the effects of the U.S.-Syria situation. The Japanese Nikkei index was down by 0.32%, and the Indonesian JSX composite was down by 3.15%. In China, positive data helped the Shanghai composite rise by 0.34% and the Shenzhen composite rise by 0.45%. European markets got off to a rough start this morning as political turmoil in Italy threatened to drag down the region's progress. The Italian MIB index was down by 1.08% and the Stoxx 600 index was down by 1.04%. The German DAX fell by 1.21%, and the Spanish IBEX suffered the largest losses, falling 1.58%. Commodity markets profited from the tension in Syria, with Brent futures up 0.10% and WTI futures up 0.20%. Precious metals also had a strong morning, with gold up 0.74% and silver up 0.89%. In currency markets, the dollar was a winner as investors looked for a safety net. The Indian rupee fell by 2.47% against the dollar to a new record low. The euro fell by 0.31% against the dollar, and the pound fell by 0.42% against the dollar. Only the yen climbed against the dollar, with a 0.64% gain. Tyson Foods continued to drop in pre-market trade this morning, shedding 2.29%. Amgen gained 4.90% in pre-market trade this morning after officially announcing that it would acquire Onyx for $125 a share. Hasbro was up 2.6% in pre-market trade this morning after the company launched a new Funny or Die board game associated with Will Ferrell's comedy website of the same name. Today, we're expecting to see earnings reports from the Bank of Montreal, the Brown Shoe Company, the Regis Corporation, and Tiffany & Co. Today is another quiet day on the economic calendar. The U.S. is set to release consumer confidence data, the German Business Climate Index is due out, and Hong Kong will put out its trade balance data. And that's it for today's Market Primer. I'm Laura Hoy for Benzinga, hoping all of you have a very profitable Tuesday.